So, I did something that I thought I wouldn't do. Yep, I pre-ordered the Constellation Edition of Starfield, and I think I'm pretty happy about it. So, I guess let's talk about it. Welcome back to the rant. So, you might be asking yourself, why in the world would you pre-order the Constellation Edition of Starfield? Well, look, I want to be front and center about this thing. Number one, I didn't buy it because of the hype. In many cases, I'm actually kind of worried that I pre-ordered the Constellation Edition, primarily because I've seen the direct, I've seen the interviews, I've seen, I guess, the gameplay reveal trailer. I know how Todd Howard is. I know how Bethesda has been over the last few years. And I know that there are a lot to confirm about this game. So, having said that, why in the world did I pre-order the Constellation Edition? Now, if you do want to see it when it does release, hit that like button and subscribe button, and I will most definitely have a video unboxing that baby. It looks pretty cool. However, there are two main important points here that I want to talk about. The first is the Chronomark watch. Is that what that's called? Chronomark? Anyways, look, the first reason why I pre-ordered the Constellation Edition was because I like the actual item that's in the collector's edition. I like the Chronomark watch, the one that's represented inside of the video game, and I like the idea of having that in one of those cool as open hard cases, and I think that is worthy of being on a shelf. Truly, I think it's like one of a kind pieces, and I really, really hope Bethesda don't screw me, okay? Thank you. Don't screw me. And I really hope, and I'm crossing my fingers, I hope that they deliver on it, and I hope that it's good quality, not some freaking Fallout 76 kind of debacle there. And if that is a great high quality product, then in and of itself, I think it's worth it. Now, the second reason is actually about the game. Obviously. And let's not go through kind of the stupid stuff. Well, it's not actually kind of stupid because, let's be honest, I personally would love to have a disc as well. Even though, all the editions I don't think comes with the disc. All of them is like digital download. So I don't want to focus on that so much, but I really do want to focus on, I guess, the key points that made me excited, but not a fanatic about the game, okay? The first thing is that if nothing else, I am in it for the story, okay? Whatever that story might be in its entirety. I think I'm a big fan of, like, for example, Interstellar. I'm a big fan of sci-fi. And if the story, and let's be honest, Bethesda, they can make good story games, okay? Let's just be real about that. If they can create a game that has a good story base, regardless of whether or not all the other systems are crap, then I will be happy. If I can, because I've seen, like, for example, the character creator, and I feel whenever I watch all of those different videos, I honestly feel like a sense of ownership towards that character. I feel like, you make your own character, you put their traits and all that, and it honestly feels like it's you living this kind of sci-fi life, and I really, really like that idea. Now, how well the other systems work, and I know that Todd Howard is kind of like keeping a lid on a lot of those, kind of how seamless will it be. For example, landing on a planet. Can you traverse that? There's no freaking there's no bikes or anything. It's all about just jetpack traversion. All that kind of stuff. Look, I will be happy first and foremost if the story is good. Everything else is kind of, to me, an added bonus. So in my head, the one that I've seen that really intrigued me to pre-order this game is, number one, the main story. The second is the shipbuilding. If that's even remotely good, where I can build my own ship, right? And kind of just create my own ship as my own character in the game, then that would be pretty epic. If I can fly that ship, from a planet to another planet and get into like a freaking space fight, I will be happy as well. If I can board, like for example, I know they're hyping it up, and I know in some cases, well, in many cases, they're kind of overhyping it. I'm aware of those overhyping stuff that Todd Howard is doing. Like it's like an open menu, right? You can do whatever you want. You want to live your own kind of like interstellar life? Yeah, go for it. I know he's overhyping. That guy's a good salesman, okay? But what I'm just trying to say is that if those core mechanics, for example, going into a planet, setting up a base, because he said that you can set up a base in a planet, you can harvest resource, and then offload those resources to a main planet, right? If it can just do that on a good level, I will be happy. Why? Because the idea of getting a ship, you're making your own character, getting in a ship, flying to a planet to establish a base. You have to obviously do quests and side quests in order for you to have the money in order to build those bases, and then kind of create like a freaking trout route between the two. I don't care how it looks like. Wouldn't it be cool if you could see your ship flying to another planet? That would be kind of cool. But just the idea of being able to do that, and then finally, you get like, I don't know, you could probably spend 100 hours trying to get freaking ultra mega wealthy, right? Like a corpo character on some sci-fi game, and then build the biggest, baddest ship. I think that would be pretty epic. And look, everything else, I feel like it's one of those problems. I've seen all the interviews, and I feel like it's one of those core problems that they're over-promising in many cases. And even Todd Howard kind of says, oh yeah, we're trying to, I think it's in the Kind of Funny Games, is that the channel name? Good interview, by the way. But in that, for example, Todd Howard somewhere in there says, like, I'm trying to tamper expectation. No, you're not, dude. No, you're not. What are you trying to tamper expectation? You want this game to be the biggest game because it's your newest IP over the longest amount, and over how long? 10 years, right? You want this to become the new Skyrim, if anything, the galactic Skyrim. And I feel like to tamper expectations, it doesn't work. It won't work. Because people now have this gigantic galactical expectation of what this game is going to be and what they think that you can do. So I am aware of all of those things, and I pre-ordered this game. I put the money down to buy the Constellation Edition with full knowledge of that. Now the good thing is I just refund it if it doesn't work out. Australian consumer laws are very, very good. If it's broken, you can return it. So for me, look, I pre-ordered it not with the hype. I pre-ordered it because I genuinely am curious about the game, the story, the features. I'm pretty excited about those things, but I'm aware that all of those things could absolutely be completely broken on launch. But I'm also pre-ordering it because of the really cool freaking gadget, the Chrono Watch. Like, even if it's just like a freaking, a shelf piece. Like, let's be real, having the Chrono Watch from the game itself, and I know, look, even the Chrono Watch, dudes, like, the Chrono Watch, they haven't even told us what the Chrono Watch can do. It says, you can see information, notification, and other things. What the absolute crap. And so, look, full knowledge of what it is, full knowledge of what it is not, full knowledge that things that, we don't fully know how the quality of all these things until it comes out in September, and I still pre-ordered. So, I'm excited, curiously excited, cautiously excited. I'm a bit of a skeptic given the track record of Bethesda, but I'm really deep down hoping that this is kind of like, a really cool game. I've seen, like, the planets that have the, habitants in it, and you got the big ass cities, great graphics, freaking atmosphere, like absolutely, like it has so much potential, and I'm really, really hoping that it works. It works out. It's fairly seamless, and I know that over time it's going to get patched. So whatever. But nowadays the trends are what they'll patch it after the game, day one comes out. So, and that's one of the reasons why I'm actually kind of happy about the whole no disc situation. Because at the end of the day, why have a disc when you have a day one patch of 100 gigabytes? Why have a disc when there are critical updates for that game on day one? So I can understand, and in many cases, I actually like the idea of not having a disc, because you get a game code. Yes, you don't own it. It's a live game, so regardless of whether or not you have the disc or not, if they shut off the server in the future, you can't connect to it anymore. So the disc is ultimately a frisbee. For this one, anyways. All other games that are single player, definitely I would love the disc, but for this particular one, they can release the most updated product on day one. So I can't wait for September 1st. Again, if you like this kind of content, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. And so, man, super, super excited. So yeah, that's the end of the rant. See ya.